Sadness, fear, anger, boredom, we all feel these things. What are some of the basic emotions that we all experience? Come along with me. Let's get on this roller coaster together. Did you know that identifying your emotions can create huge positive changes in your life? Well, sometimes they're hard to identify. I'm going to show you how. So, which emotions are good and which emotions are bad? Is happiness a good emotion? Is sadness a bad emotion? Anger is always looked at as a bad emotion. That must be a bad emotion, right? Actually, emotions aren't good or bad. Emotions just are. Now, from the family that you're raised in, you might have been taught something different. Maybe they told you that you should never be angry, or that you should always put a smile on your face. The fact of the matter is our emotions are there for a reason. Our emotions are there to help us survive. There's two reasons why we have emotions. One is they communicate to us. They communicate to us about our surroundings and what works for our survival. The other reason we have emotions is they communicate to others. They make it possible for others to connect to us, to empathize with us, and to understand us. So those are the two reasons why we have emotions. There are many emotions. I could go on and on. Happiness, sadness, loneliness, apathy, boredom. But with all these emotions, you wonder, are they all valid? Sometimes you see somebody who's experiencing something and you're thinking, they shouldn't be feeling that way. They shouldn't be freaking out about that. They shouldn't be overreacting about that. The fact of the matter is every emotion is valid. Every emotion that you've ever had is valid. It may not be based in reality, but it's real to you. So that means that every emotion that your partner has ever had is valid as well. So instead of telling yourself you shouldn't feel things, validate yourself. You're feeling things for a reason, and your emotions are real for you, and they're valid. All right, you guys, let's talk about how to find your emotions and identify them. So first off, you want to look at your thoughts. What are some common thoughts that you have with certain emotions? You might have certain thoughts of frustration, things like, why do they always do that to me? How come my boss is so rude? I might be feeling some frustration, some resentment, some anger, because I'm having those type of thoughts. So that's the first place to look is your thoughts. The next place, and I think is the most helpful place, is to notice what happens to your body. So when I smile, that's a cheesy smile, I know. But when I smile, you're feeling some kind of emotion from me. Can I recognize my emotion through my smile? When I smile, I'm happy. I feel joy. I feel connection to somebody else. So I notice when I'm feeling those things, I'll smile. Now, with anger, that's kind of an obvious one. I'll clench my fist. I'll clench my jaw. Now, we'll all do different things with emotions, but I know that that's something that I do. I'll start to think really quickly. My thoughts will race when I'm feeling angry. Stress, I get tension in my eyes and in my head. I notice that tension in my head. That's stress for me. So that's a good way for me to recognize I'm feeling stressed. Your body is a great indicator for what you're feeling. And a lot of times we're out of touch with our body. So if you can stop for a minute, just recognize what's going on in your body. What's going on right now for you? Can you put words to an emotion because of the things that you're feeling in your body? Are you feeling content? Are you feeling frustrated? Are you feeling happy because you just got to see my smile? Notice what you're feeling. Identifying those emotions is so important. I'm going to tell you an interesting story where a few people saw the exact same thing but felt something completely different. But before I do, if this is helpful learning about emotions, please give a like to my video. One day I turned on a video and it was a video of babies laughing. And I was showing it in a women's group. And what I was doing is I was teaching this very principle of identifying your emotions. And babies laughing, if you watch those videos, people start to laugh. So you can notice yourself laughing, you can notice certain things happening, and you can start to identify emotions. It was interesting because 9 out of 10 of the women were laughing along with the babies. But there was one woman who started crying, and she was crying out of sadness. And it was fascinating, and I started to process with her what was going on. She started to tell me that she'd been struggling with infertility, that just recently certain things have happened where she's feeling hopeless, like she'll never be able to have a baby. The reason I tell this story is because we all have a different perspective, and we all experience this world differently. And because of that, we have different emotions to different triggers. That's what I mean by everybody's emotions are valid. Were her emotions valid? Sadness about watching babies laughing? They are valid once you understand where she's coming from. So your emotions are not crazy. However, emotions are not always based in reality. And it's helpful for us to take a step back and say, okay, what's really reality here? For me, I'm feeling this thing about this trigger. Is this reality? And if you can grasp reality, get mindful, practice getting grounded, then you can decide whether or not to trust your emotion and act in that emotion, or to do opposite action and let go of what that emotion is telling you to do if it's not based in reality. So if all emotions are valid, that means your emotions are valid too. And sometimes in our relationships, we don't feel like we're connected to. If you liked this video about emotions, then check out my video, How to Get My Husband to Emotionally Connect to Me.